Michael A. Leonard crossed back over into fiction. From reality materialized in Mike's condominium. They're sitting on Mike's couch having a conversation. This is so fascinating to know that we are fictional characters in a script written by Mike Meyer. Our lives seem to have been created in order to fulfill Mike's dream of meeting Winona Ryder. Yeah, but as characters created by Mike, we have also taken on our own lives and are in love with each other. Mike seems to really be in love with Winona Ryder. It doesn't seem to be strictly lust, but both physical attraction and a very profound feeling of a need for a union of souls with her and a consummation of his love for her. He does seem to love her. Seems like a beautiful love. You feel like taking a walk to Pancakes by the Bay to see if we can fix it? Sure, let's go. Michael and Lana walk to Pancakes by the Bay to find that it has been rebuilt and redecorated by the very people who vandalized it. It's been rebuilt and redecorated to resemble as closely as possible the set for the scene in Reality Bites where Troy is reading a John Paul Sartre novel when he is confronted by Leilani. There are people there who look like Winona Ryder and Ethan Hawke, respectively, and are acting out that scene. They abruptly stopped acting as Mike interrupts them. What the fuck is going on here? One of the vandals, a guy named Hugh, responds. We have rebuilt and redecorated this place to resemble the set that takes place in the diner where Leilani confronts Troy about problems in the relationship. It's nice to see that you've rebuilt and redecorated it. How is that possible, considering the fact that you were the people who vandalized the place? When the owners found out that we wanted to construct a place where we could act out scenes in Reality Bites, they approved of it. That's great, Hugh. Is the place still going to be called Pancakes by the Bay? Yeah. That's superb, Hugh. Thanks, Leilani. Let's go back to my condominium with Rexmore William Shakespeare dialect. Sure. Michael and Leilani went back to Mike's condominium with Rexmore William Shakespeare dialect. Michael and Leilani got up the next morning. Got up in the morning the next day. Do you feel like going to Pancakes by the Bay for breakfast? Sure. Michael and Leilani walked to Pancakes by the Bay to see Hugh there with the former owner, a guy named Harlan. This is beautiful. This place has been transformed into a place where a person can feast on pancakes with his or her lover as they watch a beautiful reenactment of scenes from the movie Reality Bites. It's awesome. I guess I sold it to the right person. It's nice to meet you, Harlan. Hi, Mike. Would you people like to see a performance of William Shakespeare plays performed by me and Leilani? Sure, Mike. Mike and Leilani put on a performance of William Shakespeare plays for the people. Here's an excerpt from. The people thoroughly enjoyed the William Shakespeare performances and took a walk to the Bay Bridge on that beautiful night. To their amazement, they saw a holographic image above the ocean of Ben Stiller, Ethan Hawke, Winona Ryder, and Janine Garofalo in between takes for the original Reality Bites. Look, it's the cast of the original Reality Bites in between takes in a holographic image. Wow. I would like to somehow enter it so I can speak to the real life Winona Ryder to try to convince her to date Mike Meyer. Is it possible to? Let's see if it is. They scream something to them. They seem to hear it, but as they look at them, but continue talking with each other. It's a fascinating glimpse into the life of these people during the filming of Reality Bites. So it's as if you were able to see a holographic image suspended above the ocean near the Bay Bridge of the original cast members in Reality Bites when wherever they filmed that. It was like in the early '90s, in between takes, talking to each other. So it's like a splicing of that moment of time, suspended in a holographic image above the ocean near the Golden Gate Bridge. And here I am in Reality Bites 2 with Winona Ryder, and I play myself, Mike, and Leilana, and she plays Leilana again in Reality Bites 2, and we're watching that. So that's kind of what you would be seeing. And okay. It's a Reality Bites bonus feature that can only be seen in the archetypal realm that they inhabit. I really want to talk to them. We can go back tomorrow night. Let's go back to your condominium for the evening. Yeah, let's practice more William Shakespeare. They practice more dialogue. Meanwhile, the realm where the original Reality Bites exists, the cast members are discussing the nuances that they want to place in the next scene. So this is that for like they were suspended in a holographic image above the ocean near the Golden Gate Bridge, the original cast members in Reality Bites. And this is like them, the real life people in between scenes, just kind of discussing, just maybe making small talk, and they're also discussing things that they want to get into the next scene. So this is okay. So this is what they are thinking based on their perspective, because they were in a holographic image above the ocean there, the Golden Gate Bridge, and this is kind of like their response to it. Did you people notice that we were suspended above the ocean near the Golden Gate Bridge in a holographic image that could only be seen in the archetypal realm where Reality Bites 2 exists? I did notice that. That must mean that we can not only see into the future, but we could see into the realm of archetypes where Reality Bites 2 exists in the future. Suddenly, they look again into the realm where Reality Bites 2 is taking place and are approached by Leilana Pierce. So this is Leilana Pierce, the character created by Winona Ryder in the archetypal realm where Reality Bites exist, talking to Winona Ryder herself. So this is Leilana Pierce talking to Winona Ryder. So it's like the character that she created talking to her. Okay, so hi Winona, I'm Leilana Pierce. The archetypal character that was created by you. This is amazing. I'm talking to my own character. I want to tell you something, Winona. There's a guy named Mike Meyer from Chicago who would really like to meet you. In the early 20s, where you are, he's a student at Loyola University in Chicago studying accounting. He fell in love with you watching Heathers and feels that you are his predestined lover. In the year 2022, where he is now, he is a college graduate who has worked in accounting, among other things, but wants to make movies with you. I would love to meet him. How can I? I happen to know that he will be seeing Reality Bites at a theater in Chicago when it comes out. Maybe you should wait for him outside of the theater. When he departs from the theater, you could surprise him. So this would actually be me when I actually saw Reality Bites in Chicago in the early '90s. And see, it was like in a theater, a movie theater on the northwest side of Chicago. And this would be if I actually just kind of like the pleasant surprise I would get by walking out of the theater, actually having seen Winona Ryder on the silver screen at that theater. Um, and Um, and I actually see the real Winona Ryder outside of the theater after having seen her on the silver screen. I mean, just the kind of existential joy I would derive from that. Okay. When he departs from the theater, you can surprise him. Imagine his sheer excitement at unexpectedly seeing you, Winona Ryder, star of Reality Bites, the movie he is just the movie he just saw outside of the theater after he watched it. I think that's an amazingly wild and exciting idea that would be too thrilling and enlivening to pass up. Let's do it. Let's think about what we're going to say to him in advance. Yeah, we should. Meanwhile, in the archetypal realm where Reality Bites 2 exists, Mike and Leilana decide to go to Pancakes by the Bay for breakfast. They are eating their breakfast, watching a portrayal of the diner scene from Reality Bites performed by two young people. The actor and actress are dating in real life, having fallen in love during the performance of their scenes. They are having a fight and abruptly end the scene. It seems that the guy who was portraying Troy is having an affair with a woman in real life who looks like Winona Ryder. Mike and Leilana, disappointed by this, decide to go back to Mike's condominium to perform some more William Shakespeare dialogue. Mike and Leilana thoroughly enjoy their performance of William Shakespeare dialogue. They sit on the couch late into the evening, drinking beer and having a deeply philosophical conversation. It feels so good just to be in your presence, Leilana. To drink beer and feel your touch. You have such an insightful mind and beautiful soul. Yeah, Mike, you and me, some beer and some fascinating conversations. That's all we need. Yeah, Leilana, you and me, some beer and passionate love. You got it. That's all we need. My acting performances elevate my soul to a place of sublime peace of mind and transcendent pleasure. I agree, Leilana. This transcendent pleasure is not only a pleasure of the physical form that we inhabit, but it takes us on an excursion into the undiscovered depths of the human soul that can only be seen by enlightened minds that have crossed over from the merely living form of existence in the tangible world of human interaction to a world of sensuality and pleasure as we stare into the boundless expanse of immortality. It is quite a pleasure. All of a sudden, Mike and Leilana hear a couple fighting in the street below his condominium. Is the guy and woman who portray Troy and Leilana. I hear people from our theater fighting. Let them straighten it out. Let's perform some more William Shakespeare. More Mike and Leilana perform some more dialogue. Mike and Leilana thoroughly enjoy their performance of William Shakespeare dialogue. Leilana slept over at Mike's condominium and they got up the next morning to go to Pancakes by the Bay. When they got there, to their astonishment, they saw Troy arguing with the guy who portrays him. Leilana is with me now, Jim. I thought you were having an affair with another woman. I want Darlene again. My feelings for her have come back. Leilana is mine. Mike walks out to Jim and Troy to speak to them. This is unusual. You guys are fighting over the girl who portrays Leilana in an adaptation of Reality Bites at Pancakes by the Bay? Why do you think this is unusual? Because you're the guy who portrays Troy and he's Troy. Troy couldn't get Leilana because she wants me. And now he's trying to get the girl who portrays Leilana in a Reality Bites adaptation. All of a sudden, Troy and Jim get into a bloody fight. Darlene, terrified by this, runs home screaming. She gets to her home, a modest apartment in San Francisco, and sits on the couch of her living room. Suddenly, the phone rings. She answers it. Hello? What? No, Jim, I don't condone fighting. Fighting only perpetuates a vicious cycle of violence. You shouldn't have started with Troy. Our relationship is over. Darlene goes back to Pancakes by the Bay the next evening to see if they have somebody to take the place of Jim in the play and finds that they have replaced him with Troy. This is great news, isn't it, Darlene? I'll be starring as Troy in the play. Isn't this bizarre? You are going to be portraying Troy in an adaptation of Reality Bites, the movie in which you starred in as Troy. I like the idea. It's a brilliant adaptation with a lot of expanded dialogue containing philosophical ruminations, among other things. Yeah, it's going to be outstanding. Let's go back to my condominium and practice more dialogue. Sure, Mike and Leilana practice more William Shakespeare dialogue. Here's the next round. Okay, okay. Um, Julius Caesar. Wait a minute. I haven't done Julius Caesar before, so I'm gonna just to get familiarize myself with the play. I'm gonna read the introduction by Patrick Riley. Julius Caesar is a study of division in the state and in the self. A divided city, a divided hero, a divided response from the reader to the key characters and central action of the play. Is Caesar demigod or braggart? Is Brutus noble or foolish? What is the mortality of the preemptive strike, the ethics of political assassination? The ethics of political assassination. That's an interesting question. The Civil War, which is the basic subject matter, permeates every aspect of the play. And the opening scene is a joke that touches the core of the play's meaning. Flavius, supporter of the side of the Civil War just vanquished by Caesar, indignantly asks a worksman why he's so inappropriately making holiday by leading his men through the streets. The man, a cobbler, pertly replies, "Truly, sir, to wear out these shoes to get myself into more work before supplying the real reason to celebrate Caesar's triumph." The jocosely divided motives in the cobbler are a comic anticipation of the tragic dilemma of the central character. In addition, the answer opens a door upon the key question of the play, the nature of politics and the motives of those who participate therein. Cassius and Brutus are also leading men about the streets in a conspiracy that will end in Caesar's assassination. Are they doing it from self-interest or higher motives? Cassius is easy to understand because there's no division in him. He is simply envy masquerading as principle. Resentful of Caesar because he himself would be Caesar, an upmarket version of the self-interested cobbler, leading his men for his own advantage. Antony and Octavius are also too easily comprehensible, as they cold-bloodedly carve up the spoils, cynically bartering the lives of their closest kinsmen. Each concerned only with clawing as much power for himself as he can. These are the single-minded people in the play who so uncomplicatedly, unagonizingly know what they want. Brutus, by contrast, solicits our interest because he is double, the divided man par excellence, cruelly torn between competing obligations. Affection for Caesar, his best lover, and concern for the good of Rome, split between friendship and patriotism. The civil war in Rome is also waged within Brutus himself, as he reluctantly consents to Caesar's death, Cassius to bid for it. If only, he laments, they could destroy Caesarism, without harming Caesar himself. Unlike Cassius, Brutus acts from principle. He does what he thinks is right, and it turns out to be disastrously wrong. The Republican era is over. Our day is gone, says Titinius at Philippi. But this is true from the outset. Rome is destined for Caesarism. The only thing doubtful is the identity of the Caesar. This is made ironically manifest in the acclamation of the crowd at the close of Brutus' speech justifying his enforced killing of Caesar. Let it be Caesar. The people want to reward him for what he has done by making him the very thing he loathes most of all. He is to become the man he killed. He is killed for nothing. Brutus is yesterday's man. The killing of Caesar is revealed as a political blunder of the first magnitude. The man Caesar, arrogant, deaf, so easily swayed, is dead, but the spirit of Caesar lives on. Brutus tries to resist history, stand up against Caesarism, and is ruthlessly swept aside. Hence, the justification of the play's title, named for a character who departs the scene with 2 acts still to go. Caesar, dead, continues to control the action. "O Julius Caesar, thou art mighty yet!" Thy spirit walks abroad, and turns our swords and our proper entrails. Brutus has blundered, and he pays the ultimate forfeit. But Dante, notwithstanding, Shakespeare presents him as a good if mistaken man. At the beginning, Cassius, speaking a soliloquy, calls him noble and tells us that were the positions reversed, i.e., Caesar favored Cassius as he so clearly does Brutus, then he, Cassius, would never have been tempted to join the conspiracy. This candid admission confirms the envious, malcontent character of Cassius, while simultaneously vindicating the integrity of Brutus. Whatever else, he did not become a conspirator for the cobbler's reason, private gain. Casca, too, tells us that the conspiracy needs Brutus as the one irreproachable man, respected by everyone, whose participation will indemnify the assassins and present their action in the most favorable light. And at the close, the victory won and the need for propaganda lies removed. Antony, Brutus's foremost enemy, says the same thing over the corpse. This was the noblest Roman of them all. All the conspirators, save only he, did what they did in envy of great Caesar. Dante consigns him to the lowest pit of hell. That's a great line. I want to say it again. Dante consigns him to the lowest pit in hell. Shakespeare, it is clear, holds a very different view. Okay. I want to go towards the end of the play to see get more of the conclusion of the play and see what happens at the end. I'll just go Act 4, Scene 1. Rome, Antony's house. Enter Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. These many then shall die. Their names are pricked. Your brother must die. Consent you, Lepidus. I do consent. Prick him down, Antony. Upon condition, Publius shall not live. What is your sister's son, Mark Antony? He shall not live. Look, with a spot. I damn him. But Lepidus, go you to Caesar's house. Fetch the will hither, and we shall determine how to cut off some charge and legacies. What, shall I find you here? Or here at the capital? This is a slight, unmeritable man. Me to be sent on errands at his fifth. The threefold world divided, it shall stand one of the three shareth. So you thought him and took his voice, who should be pricked to die, in our black sentence and proscription. Octavius, I have seen more days than you, and though we lay these honors on this man, to ease ourselves of divers slanderous loads, he shall bear them as the ass bears gold, the groan and sweat under the business. Either let him or drive him as we point the way, and having brought our treasure, then we take down his load and turn him off, and like to the empty ass, to shake his airs and graze in commons. I'm just going to go right to the end of the play, see how it concludes. Come down, behold no more. O coward that I am to live so long. See my best friend taking me where her face. Come hither, and Petro take the present. I swear. Farewell, good Strato. Caesar, now be still. What man is that? According to his virtue, let us use him with all respect and rites of burial. Within my tent, his bones tonight shall lie, most like a soldier, ordered honorably. So call the field to rest, and let's away, to part the glories of this happy day. So that was just a little sample of Julius Caesar. Now I'm going to go to Romeo and Juliet. My favorite one is Romeo and Juliet. Okay, let's see. Okay, scene 2, Capulet's orchard. Enter Romeo. He just as scars has never felt a wound. Enter Juliet above a window. But soft! What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art more fair than she. Be not her maid, for she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew who she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. To the fair stars, and I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. To the fair stars, in all the heaven, having some business to entreat her eyes till they twinkle in their spheres. What if her eyes were there? They in her head. The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars as daylight doth a lamp. But through the airy region streams so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon that hand? Oh, that I wear a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek. She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being over my head, as is a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned up wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him, when he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds, and sails upon the bosom of the air. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore thou, Romeo, deny thy father, refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, be but sworn by love, and no longer be Capulet. Shall I say her more, or shall I speak at this? 'Tis but that name that is my enemy, thou art thyself, and not a man take. What's man take? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, by some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name. I take thee at thy word. Call me with love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo. What man art thou, thus bescreened a night, so stumblest on my counsel? By a name I know not how to tell thee how I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to me because it is an enemy to thee. Had I written, I would tear the word. My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, and yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and Amante? Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike. How canst thou hither tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here. With love's light wings did I ever perch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do, that dear's love attempt, therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me. If they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more peril night. Aye, than 20 of their swords. Flick thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. I would not for the world they saw thee here. I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes. And thou but love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death, prorogued wanting of thy love. By whose direction foundst thou out this place? By love that first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me wings, and I lent them counsel. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that fast shore washed with the farthest sea, I should have measured with such merchandise. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else will the maiden blush before I. Lady, by yonder blessed moon, I swear, that tips with silver all those fruit tree tops. Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. What shall I swear by? Do not swear at all. Or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee. If my heart's dear love, well, do not swear. Although I join thee, I have no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which thou ceased to be. Even one could say it light and sweet good night. This bud of love with summer's opening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, as sweet repose and rest come to thy heart. Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? What satisfaction canst thou have tonight? The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would have were to give me it. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love? But to be frank and give thee again, and yet I wish for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Anon, sweet. Good nurse, sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little longer. Oh, blessed, blessed night! I am afeard. Being a knight, all this is but a dream. Too flattering sweet to be substantial. 1,000 times good night. 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes towards love as schoolgirls from their books, but love from love towards school with heavy looks. Brianna Julia above. I'm going to go right to the end of the play now. Let's see. Give me the mattock and the wrenching iron. Well, take this letter early in the morning. See thou deliver it to my father. Give me the light upon thy life, I charge thee. Whatever thou hearest or seest, stand all aloof. And do not interrupt me in my course while I descend upon into this bed of death. Is partly to behold my lady's face, but chiefly to take thence from her dead finger a precious ring. A ring that I must use in dear employment, therefore hence be gone. But if thou jealous dost return to pry, and what I farther shall intend to do, by heaven, I will tear thee joint by joint, and strew this hungry churchyard with thy limbs. My time and my intents are savage wild, more fierce, and more inexorable, far than empty tigers the roaring sea. I'll be going there, not trouble ye. So shalt thou show me friendship. Take thou that. Live and be prosperous. And farewell, good fellow. For all the same, I'll hide thee hereabout. His looks I fear, and his intents I doubt. Thou detestable moth, thou womb of death. gorged with the dearest morsel of the earth. Thus I enforce thy rotten jaws open, and despite I'll cram thee with more food. Okay, now I'm going to, wait a minute, let's see. We're right to the end of the play. This letter doth make good the friar's words, their course of love, the tidings of her death. And here he writes that he did buy a poison of a poor apothecary, and therewithal came to this vault to die and lie with Juliet. Where be these enemies, Capulet, Montague? See what scourge is laid upon your hate? That heaven finds a means to kill your joys with love. And I, for winking at your discords, too, have lost a brace of kinsmen. All are punished. Oh, brother Montague, give me thy hand, and this is my daughter's jointure, for no more can I add, but I can give you more. For I will raise her statue in pure gold, that whiles Verona, that name is known, there shall no figure at such rate be set as that of true and faithful Juliet. As rich shall Romeo by his ladies lie, poor sacrifices of our enmity. A gloaming peace this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show his head. Go hence to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned and some punished, for never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.